Welcome to the webinar. I am Patrick Assalone. David will be joining us. David Wallace, creator of our software. First and foremost, thank you very much. I will make this as informative and as short as humanly possible. I know all of you are very, very busy, so I want to tell you thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you cutting some time out of your day and making it in here. Now, for those of you that are aware of the method, there's some of you in here that are new. We will be having a different webinar on Thursday too to address brand new people or prospective clients, but we have a method. And all the software in the world is not going to help you unless you know the method. So, we teach you a method that I teach is absolutely unique in this business. No one does what I do. I'm the only person in this business that calls these levels out the session before, meaning the day before, so you may use them in the overnight, the pre-market, and then the pit session. The first thing that we do is we take you through our Ramp Up with Rando program. For those of you that have been through it, you learn how to take reversals and inverses, the core of our program. Once you get through the Ramp Up with Randall, you go into your first 100 trades. The first 100 shows us that you know what you're doing and can execute these signals. Now, I know the first 100 trades sounds ominous, guys. I don't really know anyone in the last 3 years who did not accomplish that stage in more than 30, maybe 40 maximum. And when you are looking at the big picture, guys, this is a method that you've never ever done before, taking 40 trades and being ready. That's something. We then send you into money management. What does that mean? That means on a simulator, I teach you how to price trades. Is it worth 2 contracts? Is it worth 1? Is it valid? Because it's valid, is it even any good in that case? We teach you how to disqualify everything. So all that you're left with are valid entries. Once you complete money management, now in money management, at this point, you are still only using reversals and inverses, which again are about 80% of the actual signals that we will execute. You have a chance to go live using the micros. Why do we do that? We want you dipping your toe in the water to see what it's like to trade real money. So if you choose to go live on the micros, I am constantly watching you. All of you know this. Once you complete a round of money management live in the micros, you have other choices. What can you do? You can go to a prop trading firm. You can increase your lots. You can do all kinds of things. But here was the component that we didn't have before. Now remember what I had said. About 20% of our entries are reversals and inverses. That still leaves a lot on the table, meaning gap fills, which are our most powerful play, trending entry step 2s, trending entry step 3s. As everybody saw in the room this morning, I took about 9 of those and showed them to you while they were in action. The last several days, I've taken many of them. So for example, here's a breakout trade, a step 3 that you would not have been able to execute with an inverse or a reversal. Here's a gap fill play you would not have been able to execute with an inverse or a reversal. That's Delilah. Give me 1 second. She's protecting me. Some reason she thinks I need protecting. This is a step 3 in the ES. Winner, you would not have been able to take that with just the executioner software if you had only inverses and reversals. Here is a trending entry short between HVAs, nowhere near an edge. Trending entry short. Winner in the NASDAQ. So you can now see that you have all of these other opportunities, just not having to wait to take a trade at an edge, take a trade at an edge, take a trade at an edge. You now have the other 20% of our arsenal available to you in a trade assist software. So what does that mean? As you guys can see, I was trading with 1 lots all morning. I just let the machine run. Now this is on sim, but this is 1 contract entries, up $1,731. There's no difference in the methodology whether you're trading live or whether you're trading sim. But I'm going to tell you one thing: the profit would have been probably half as much without those trending entry trades. They happen quickly. You've got to manage these things. Well, I've got news for you. You don't have to do that anymore. You put out the signal looking for a step 2, a step 3, or a gap fill. Once you're pulled into the market, it will manage the trade for you exactly the way that the executioner does. It will throw up your limit orders. It will throw up your stop orders. It will automatically trail for you. This is a monster opportunity to jump in on about 20% of the entries that you generally did not have available to you. And if you did have them available to you, guys, it's a big pain in the ass doing these things manually. I think all of you are going to agree on that. So what we're doing is we're taking the work out of it for you. We are going to let the automation work for you. Now, David, if you would like to, you can explain how the Da Vinci functions.
Great. Thank you, Pat. For those that are new, I'll give a quick introduction. My name is David Wallace. I'm a developer here at Target Trading Academy. I've been trading for 11 years, and I've been a student at Pat since 2016. So, like Pat said, I'll just explain how Da Vinci works, what it does, and then at the end, I'll go ahead and answer any questions. So, when you enable the Da Vinci, you'll get a pop-up window as you see on the screen. After enabling, you can move that pop-up window wherever you want. All Da Vinci related controls are on this window. So that means taking a trade, closing out of a trade, changing the trade quantity. Everything's done with this window. So at the beginning, when you first enable it, your long and short buttons start off grayed off. But right now, Pat has them enabled. So Pat, go ahead and deselect your trail 2 and step 3 for us to just start. Perfect, thank you. So I'll explain the top row first before we continue. The ES part is basically just showing you what you have your Da Vinci attached to. So in this case, he has attached to his ES market. To the right of that, you have the quantity. So you can change the quantity. You can set whatever quantity you want for the Da Vinci. To the right of that, you have the half button. So you can click that half button and it halves whatever the value of your quantity is set at. So in this case, he just halved it, it's at 4. And to the right of that, you have 2 buttons. They're called quick quantity buttons. It has them set for 6 and 3. You can change these to whatever you would like in the settings. So this will give you the option to trade however you would like, giving you full customization, and utilizing that half button with them would maximize everything that you do. So now to enable the long and short buttons, Pat has the step 3. So you first need to enable your entry strategy. So in this case, you have step 2 reversion and a step 3 breakout. So Pat has step 3 breakout enabled. Next, you would need to enable your exit strategy. So there's all in, all out, a trail 1 bar stop, and a trail 2 bar stop. So go ahead and select trail 2, Pat. So once trail 2 selected, so you have entry and exit selected, your long and short buttons are now enabled. So with the Vinci, once they're enabled, the second you press long or short, an order will be placed immediately. There's no waiting. So you must click it when you are ready to take the trade. So in this case, because he has step 3 enabled, once he presses long, it will place an order.
Order submitted.
Step 3.
Order submitted.
Then you disqualify that trade when you are ready. So great. So you got filled. So you can see at the top there, a break-even button was also added. So a cool feature in the DaVinci is that you have the ability to move the break-even when that price is above your entry price. In this case, it's not available until that point. In this case, you would be waiting for, once your limit gets filled, then your stop will move to break-even automatically in that case. And then since he has trail 2 enabled, it will, once that limit is filled, your stop will trail 2 bars back when the price is valid. So, I don't know if Pat, if you want to sit through that trade or not, or if you just want to flatten it.
Order canceled.
Now, I flatten it because everybody knows who I've ever taught, do not trade at noon. For any reason whatsoever, everybody's at lunch. That was purely an example to show you how it works.
Right. So, and the cool thing is Pat used the flatten button on that control panel, which allowed him to close that trade. So he didn't need to go anywhere else to close it. So everything's done on the DaVinci. So we'll go ahead and go over the settings now, because that pretty much sums up the DaVinci for there. So go ahead and shut that down, Pat, and then uncheck it in your strategies tab, and then open up the settings for it, and we'll go over that. Okay, perfect. So we'll go from the top, start at the top. So control panel always showing. So that basically means that that window that pops up will appear in front of all windows and remains visible. So that's on by default. You can deselect that if you want. Below that, you have a market if touched. So this places a market if touched order instead of a limit order. Below that, you have your enable break-even at percent. So you would enable that and then set your break-even percent. By default, it's at 70, but you can change that to, I believe the range is between 50 and 90. Below that, you have enable take profit at percent, and you would set that profit percent as well. And enable take profit percent is basically moving that, instead of it being at 1-to-1, it's the percent, it's the target limit set to percent of the 1-to-1 reward to risk. And then below that, you have your button content. So your quantity button 1 and quantity button 2. So those are your quick quantity buttons that I was explaining earlier. You can customize those to whatever number you would like. Pat has it set to 6 and 3. And that's pretty much it. Now, in the future update, we are going to add a max risk protection, which protects an order from being filled if the risk is greater than the max threshold. And then we're also going to be adding a one contract trade with trail. So basically this means is it allows the option to use trailing features, which is trail 1 and trail 2, when entering the trade with one contract. So when you enter a trade with one contract, the limit order won't be placed, but your stop will trail once that price gets to the point where it's valid for it to trail. So that is going to be added in a future update, hopefully this month. So that's it. So I'll go ahead and answer any questions if there is any.
Also, before you have any questions, everyone, there's also going to be a feature that is going to allow you to increase your risk size. Now, I've spoken to many of you about this before, primarily for larger account sizes, specifically if you are prop trading as well. For example, let's say if you're trading with Legends and your max risk or max loss for the day is 3,000. You want to have at least 3 shots in a day. So you can actually make your contract size larger, smaller, increase the size. Instead of 610 ticks on the ES, you could make it 1597, things of that nature. So what we're focusing on and what we're aiming for is to have as much automation to enable you to do whatever you want as possible. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. Questions, anyone? Now the software is very, very easy to use. We will teach you how to work with it because everything new can be a bit tricky sometimes. I will show you how to do it in the room. We will run through examples all the time. And you will be starting off on sim until you know how to do it. Now remember something, guys. When you hit trending entries, those are generally your largest runners. They don't happen as often as inverses and reversals, but you now have the opportunity to share in those entries using a Trade Assist platform that we really have not had that could perform all of these functions up until now. Rob Eels, I see you typing. Possible trade at 10:49, then 11:03. Who decided to take one and not the other, Da Vinci or the operator? 10:43 or 11:03. Well, that was an inverse. So the executioner took that one. Anytime you hit an edge, Rob Eels, and you have a valid entry, the executioner is going to throw out an order, and then it's up to you to leave it alone or disqualify it. As far as Da Vinci is concerned, you are the one with your finger on the trigger. So for example, if I were looking to take a step 3, I'm the one that has to do it. And once the trade is over, Rob, it will not take another one until you choose to take another one. Clear? The Da Vinci does not, it is not fully automated software. It is Trade Assist. It's one more step than the executioner, because once you leave the executioner on automatic, it will take them and then it's up to you to choose what you would like to do. The problem with the trending entries are, Rob, you have to wait until they are in the correct place. Whether you're above yesterday's range going long, below yesterday's range going short, or you're in a gap fill opportunity where if you open gap down, you're looking to go long, and if you open gap down or gap up, you're looking to go short. Does that make sense? That's why you need to be the one that is controlling the action, because you are the one who's running the method. Clear? Remember something. Guys, this stuff is not AI. And even if it were, I would not use AI for trading for any freaking reason whatsoever. This is making your life a lot easier and is going to give you the opportunity to have, for lack of a better word, more opportunity. Ed, that's okay. We can teach you if you're interested. It's really simple. Because essentially what I just went over, Ed, is the entire program. I don't really use a lot of big words. I don't pontificate on market action. I just tell you what the best chance is and where it's at. It is absolutely. Ed, I have student data. So for example, what does that mean? Everybody says, okay, well, what does it do? If I were taking trades in front of everybody, that would create a big problem legally. So I teach people the method. Many people are in this room right now, Ed. So my 2022 student results, 4,600 wins, 1,331 losses, 198 break even for a winning percentage of 75. Now, Ed, also understand something. 7 students could take the same exact trade. It only counts as 1 win. 2023, 3,389 wins, 1,112 losses, 258 break evens, winning percentage of 71.21%. 2024, 3,020 wins, 833 losses, 227 break evens, winning percentage 74.02. And so far this year to date, because we've only had a couple of months, really a month and a half, 450 winners, 139 losers, 15 break evens for a 74.5 winning percentage. Any more questions? Not to mention, Ed, everyone is required when you take this course that you must take screenshots of every single trade that you take. You must submit them for critique, and I go over what was done correctly, what was done incorrectly, every single day, all freaking day. Any more questions while Rob Eel is typing feverishly? Also, Ed, it's kind of ridiculous where most people try to dispute my results because I'm putting these orange levels out on the screen that you see the day before the market opens for everybody in the world to see. Nobody else in this business does that. Did Da Vinci offer to make some trades? It doesn't offer anything, Rob. You have to make the choice. It is not the same thing as the executioner where you leave it on auto and it will just take trades. It's a separate window. So for example, let's say you'd have the Da Vinci up here, executioner here, you can put them anywhere you want on that chart. You can put them anywhere you want, Dr. Khan, on another screen if you choose to. I do that with executioner. I put my executioner control panel on a separate screen because for me, I've got it lined up very easily to where I can just disqualify something pretty quickly if I don't want to take it. I leave the Da Vinci on the actual trade screen because that requires one more step of manual operation. Does that make sense? Any more questions? As you can see also, Rob Eels, they're labeled, so you know what you're doing. You need to speak to your consultant, Dr. Khan. And as I was telling you about this morning, you're in money management, you have been there for a while. I have no issue allowing you to move to trending entries and gap fills as well. You know what you're doing. If it were one of the newer students, I would not allow it, because you'd have to get through operating your reversals and executioner first. And here's the reason why I tell this to everyone. When you have a fixed high volume area edge, guys, for example, let's say all the way down here in the ES, you can see this coming. You're ready to disqualify it. You're ready to take it. It's a whole lot different when the market's moving in real time and putting in suggestions for you. Does that make sense? You don't want that being automatic. But if you can't sit there and disqualify something that you can see coming at an edge from a mile away, it would be irresponsible to throw you into the deep end with trending entry software. Does that make sense? And no matter what people think about me and opinions vary, that guy I am not. Any more questions, anyone, before we finish up the webinar? All right, everybody. Thank you very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. If you have any questions, please contact us. We would be more than happy to help you. For those of you that are actually new and don't know anything really about the method, the same consultants can help you as well. Thank you very much. I am eternally grateful to all of you, because without you, there is no me. So thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, everyone. And just like I told you, don't worry, those gaps are going to fill, and they did. It is recorded. Charles, we will get it for you. Joe Giovino, I still got to turn it off and edit it to send to you, okay? Don't worry about it. We'll make sure you get it. It's still rolling. We will make sure you get it, okay? Everybody in the webinar will have it sent to them, as long as we have your contact information. You are welcome, and it's my pleasure. And Joe Giovino, thank you very much. And if I butchered your name, I apologize in advance. All right, guys, have a great day, and thank you very much.